I'm Christina Wen. I go to Fairfax High School.
I'm Krista Tran. I was a previous president of MAUVSA.
I'm Win Din, and I'm the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Legislative Affairs at the Department of Homeland Security.
Tên tôi là Sydney Trần.
Tôi là Nguyễn Cao Quyền. Trước khi sang Mỹ, tôi ở trong chính quyền Việt Nam Cộng Hòa.
Of course, the Fall of Saigon. And that's basically all I know since I was never officially taught by my parents or anyone.
These black and white photos of the boat people, sometimes the boats are flipped over, sometimes it's like 40 people crammed on a boat that's made for 20 people, and these images are kind of burned in my memory.
The Fall of Saigon, the end of freedom and democracy for the Vietnamese people.
You could see that there's a waste of opportunities, there's a waste of lives, there's a waste of resources that's not giving us anything. And right now, looking at Vietnam, is not any better than where we were before 1975.
30 tháng 4 là ngày nước Việt Nam Cộng Hòa bị xóa tên trên bản đồ thế giới. Mỗi khi nghĩ đến ngày này, toàn dân miền Nam đau khổ vì đất nước đã mất tự do. Hàng triệu người đã vượt biển bỏ nước ra đi trên những con thuyền bé nhỏ, và hàng nửa triệu người dù vùi thân dưới lòng đại dương vì chẳng bao giờ tới bến.
I think around 20 or 30 years old.
My parents immigrated separately, so my dad, he was 23 when he came over here, and my mom was 38 or 39 when she came.
I was 4, my brother was 10 days old, and my mom had a change of diapers and a couple bottles for him.
Actually, I did not immigrate, I escaped. Tôi rời Việt Nam năm 1979, là năm tôi 15 tuổi.
Chúng tôi lúc đó đã có tuổi vì đã đi vào tuổi 60, tức là năm 1990.
They were looking for opportunities for jobs and just a better life for me and my brother.
My parents actually knew each other in Vietnam. They grew up in the same neighborhood, and they're kind of separated by war, and by writing letters and convincing my mom that he would take care of her and bring her over to the U.S. as his wife. She agreed and immigrated to the U.S. 15 years after my dad did.
We escaped under darkness and the cover of night. We left April 20th, 1975, and we traveled through the Pacific, first Japan, and then we ended up in the Philippines at Clark Air Force Base, where no one was expecting a mass exodus of Vietnamese refugees, and then off to Guam. And at Guam, I believe on April 30th, we heard from the BBC that Saigon had fallen.
Father was in the old regime. He was a military judge in the old regime. He was forced to go to re-education camp. If you were related to the old regime, if your family members served in the old regime, là you don't have the opportunity, sẽ không có cơ hội để mà đi học lên đại học hoặc là tìm được việc làm tốt.
Gia đình tôi có 3 người. Lúc tôi bị đi cải tạo thì 4 năm sau, tức là năm 1979, con gái tôi vượt biên sang Hoa Kỳ. Lúc đó mới 17 tuổi. Sau khi ở cải tạo ra, tức là 10 năm sau, tôi được tha. Và lúc đó tôi cùng với vợ tôi đi theo diện HO, tức là Humanitarian Operation, sang Hoa Kỳ để đoàn tụ với con gái.
There's a lot of poverty right now in Vietnam, and I just hope that later in the future we'll be able to help them eradicate like poverty.
So Vietnamese history, it's kind of complicated because we've always been, I guess, oppressed by people. What I wish for Vietnam as a country is to gain independence one day and be able to rule ourselves and not have to always be in this power struggle with outsiders or outside governments trying to rule us.
That the people of Vietnam will have the choice, the free choice, to elect their own leaders in a democratic, open forum.
My greatest and only wish for Vietnam is for the people to have the opportunity for Vietnam to be free.
When people think of Black April, the Fall of Saigon, it's like a lot of bad memories, but I don't want people to see it as a terrible memory. It is, but I want them to see that it's something to bounce back on, and that we'll use that memory to power us on for the future.
I feel like April 30th is such a bittersweet thing to think about because a lot of people kind of mourn it as the death of our country. But if it weren't for the communist government taking over Vietnam, there wouldn't be this mass influx of Vietnamese people going to different countries, going to different continents and spreading our culture. So I think, it's great that we're commemorating our past and understanding our history, but also I think it's a great way to appreciate what we have now and to celebrate our culture no matter where we are.
Folks who've been born post 1975, and that I think is the question for our community here. How do we inform? How do we socialize? How do we keep this story alive so it doesn't become something relegated to the last section of your usual history textbooks? There's a real thirst, there's a real knowledge to know where they came from, where their families came from, the genesis of really their lives. And we owe it to them to help them connect those dots.
It's not only for Vietnamese American, but also Americans in general, is that the war was just. It was a waste in terms of outcome, but the intention was good. It was just. The Americans wanted to help Vietnam remain free from communism, and that was a just cause. So I'd like to have people understand the sacrifice of the South and the Americans.
Ngày 30 tháng 4 là ngày mà Việt Nam rơi vào tay Cộng sản. Ngày đó là một cơn ác mộng cho tất cả những người đã ra đi và cơn ác mộng của những người còn ở lại. Ngày đó là ngày mà không ai quên được, và đã là người Việt Nam thì không ai quên được. Ý nghĩa của ngày 30 tháng 4 phải được truyền lại cho hậu thế để mọi người quyết tâm đấu tranh mang lại tự do cho đất nước và quê hương xứ sở, để cho quê hương xứ sở được nhanh chóng hội nhập vào nền văn minh của nhân loại.